I broke through on DMT, and the people on the other side told me to go away. I saw like dead people.
And I was like going to hell, and I was getting skinned alive by my friend's dad.
This is a brand new, never-before-seen Shambhala episode. Now, you may recognize some of these people from a previous episode, but that is because I saved this part of our interview for this shroom video. Hope you guys all enjoy. This is one of my favorites ever. Okay, so I have two big questions for you. Are you ready? Please tell me your most horrifying drug experience and what made it so bad.
Oh, shrooms. Like 2 years ago, I saw like dead people.
Explain the trip. What happened?
Well, I kind of like just took it with a few people at someone's house, and the vibes were off. I knew them well, but I kind of wish I didn't.
I took too many mushrooms in a hotel in Edmonton, and I thought I was melting in the shower.
I was like so unsure of like how the night was gonna go, so I just started like downing shrooms. That was last year, and that was like my first one. It was during Long Walk Short Dog.
Did you weigh them?
It said the weight on the bag. It was like 2 grams.
Didn't know how much I was taking. Friend just handed me a bag, and I was like,
You didn't
sure.
weigh them?
Didn't weigh them. He was like, this is a good amount.
Was he trying to get you fucked though?
I don't think so. I think he was as ignorant as I was.
It was one of the first times I'd done mushrooms. They were all albino weights, and I didn't realize at the time that weed potentiated it quite a bit. And I was sitting there, and it was getting really intense, and I was like, well, I should smoke some weed to chill out. So I had like a big hoot, and then I was sitting there, and the waves were coming in, and then it did this thing where, like, I guess I could describe as ego death, which I'd never experienced before.
I was at home with my dad, who didn't know I did drugs at the time. And, you know, it was just an experience where he thought I was sober and he wanted me to make dinner and make the bed and do all these things, but I was very incapable. Yeah, basically that experience, I realized I was pretty incapable of doing anything, and I didn't want him to realize how high I was, and it sent me into a spiral of hiding in my room under the covers.
I was just kind of looking around the house, and I got a little freaked out, and I just saw like ghosts and stuff, and I was just trying to go to sleep. Yeah, and I was just trying to go to sleep.
Did it work?
No.
Like shit was moving, I couldn't really see straight, but like all I could focus was like the fucking stage at that point. And like Long Walk, he always has his fucking strobe lights on, and he's very visual with his like performance, so he makes like crazy fucking faces during his performance. So I was just looking at him while he's just doing that, and like, yeah, I freaked out. I told my buddy I'd be right back, and I like walked back to camp and like laid down and just like stared at the ceiling of my tent for like 2 hours.
But I just took them, started chewing, and I was like, oh, this is awful. I'm sitting there. Instantly felt super nauseous, so went outside and puked. And then I'm sitting there, and they're like, oh, let's go up to the hill. It's gonna be awesome. Like, we'll watch the sunset, all this. I'm like, you guys go ahead. I just need a second. I proceed to go to my room and have like the worst 2 hours of my life. Like, it felt like hell. Like, I was so uncomfortable. I was hot. I was cold. I was seeing things when I closed my eyes. I was just so...
Can't escape it, eh? Eyes open, eyes closed.
Things like my car and my job and things like that didn't really matter at that moment.
Did you remember them though? Did you still remember your car and job, or were you like losing memory?
I did actually, a little bit. It felt weird because it felt like my accomplishments weren't really like that. They didn't really matter in the long run, which was the weirdest thing for me at the time.
But what made it so scary?
Well, I was going through a bunch of stuff at the time. I wasn't expecting to like be so introspective. You know what I mean?
Okay, so like showed you a bunch of shit that you were doing wrong. Like it taught you some lessons.
Yes,
I see.
it did.
What made it so scary? Like what was the prevalent thought that you were battling with?
It was one, lack of control. Like there was nothing I could seem to do to make myself feel better. I was on this ride and there was no controlling it. You know, I was cold, I'd put on blankets, I would be like just as uncomfortable. There was no beating it. So that sucked.
Did you have thoughts you were gonna be like that forever?
In the back of my head, I had to hold on to that thread of like logic that no, this will pass, just get through it.
But when it passes, it feels amazing. It's like an orgasm when it passes.
I ran out to my friends up the hill and like, guys, how are you doing? I'm so happy to see you. Like, I'm good now.
Did you make it out of the shower?
Oh yeah, I got out of the shower eventually.
Like, I was in the right frame of mind to even, like, walk back to my tent, right? But it was just a lot of anxiety.
You handled it well, though. You went back to your tent.
Yeah.
You obviously did some breaths. You breathed.
Yeah.
You worked through it. Some people panic and they take all their clothes off and fucking run around.
Yeah, right? Or they just start, like, asking people what to do and they freak out, but...
So you didn't need help. You handled it on your own?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd say white knuckled it, and it was like borderline ego death experience, but
Like the ego dissolution is what they've got.
I'd
It's
say
fading.
so.
I've had that a lot. It goes in and out. You still know your name, but like
yes, I was fading in and out of kind of different dimensions or realities, I guess I'd say. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't fully lucid, and I'd come in and out of it.
So was it positive in the end?
Oh, absolutely. I don't regret it at all, but it was still horrifying.
Mine was also on mushrooms, not quite as introspected as his. I just got really in my head about like having to throw up, and I was just sick.
About throwing up? I've been there. And the nausea makes you more scared.
Yeah, like I felt like I needed to throw up to make it go away, and I couldn't. And I called him because he wasn't at home, and I was like, make it stop.
No?
No, I was up for quite a few
But were you
hours.
traumatized by it? Like were
Yeah,
you
I've never done shrooms again.
Never since. I'm an acid person.
Acid is way better.
Yeah, acid, it scared me, but not to that degree.
We did some like dark web acid tabs.
What country were they from? Out of
The
curiosity?
Netherlands.
Okay, we've got good stuff.
We were not prepared for how good.
I did LSD when I was 17. I was like homeless.
You were homeless?
I was living in my car and stuff. I got kicked out, whatever. But I like took like a fat tab and I realized it wasn't one tab.
So we were used to like, double or tripling every consecutive day. So the first day was nice. The second day we ended up doubling up, and then our whole field of vision became like an Alex Gray painting. And Hannah and I, we grabbed each other, and when our foreheads touched, the whole world collapsed in on itself, and we collapsed into nothingness.
And like I got trapped in my friend's basement and they all fell asleep because my friend was on like a sedative or something, and I was like on a mattress and I was like going to hell, and I was getting skinned alive by my friend's dad and stuff. And it was
By his dad.
my friend's dad in my weird...
In your mind, yeah. How did you get out of it?
I didn't. I wrote it through. I wrote it until the next morning, and my friends were like, we got to go to church. And I was just like, oh, fuck, I'm still tripping.
Now, before we hear about going to church high, we got to take a quick break because there is something I want to talk about. I want to talk about this video's sponsor, Merrick Health. The truth is, most doctors don't truly care about making you as optimized as possible. They check your labs, they tell you it's normal, and that's pretty much it. Meanwhile, you're feeling tired, you're not getting morning wood, maybe not as much, and you just know that something is not right. And that is where Merrick Health comes in, and this is my sales pitch. They actually aren't your typical doctor, they offer next-level optimization. From my own personal experience dealing with them, they were able to deep dive into my blood work unlike any previous doctor ever really cared to do, or even had the knowledge base to do. My personal health coach was able to tell me in ways that I could actually understand just how, bad some of my current life choices were. Just how much they were hurting me, even though I didn't realize it. Hint, substance use, hint? So if you are someone like me who has dabbled in the past, it is extra important that you stay on top of your blood work just to make sure that everything is working okay and you haven't caused or aren't causing any permanent damage. The blood says it all. It really does. And having a competent person to actually review that blood and explain to you why certain things are off or doing what they're doing is invaluable. It's actually vital for your longevity, in my opinion. It is also no secret that I have been on the good old hormone replacement for over 4 years now. Merrick Health also offers an in-depth analysis of all of your hormone levels so you can just see, if you're in the optimal range for a man. Of course, I cannot endorse TRT. It has really helped me, and that's all I can say, but I can't tell you whether it's going to be optimal for your health or not. This is why you have to get your own blood work. And of course, the best part about all of this is you can get a 10% discount by using the code PsychSubstance. That's right, go to merrickhealth.com, use the code PsychSubstance, and get a 10% discount. Anyway, with all that being said, let's jump back into this video. Cheers.
So I'm in church and I see like my ex-girlfriend everywhere, and it's like my first love, high school shit. So it's just like I'm like freaking out, and I'm not a fan of Jesus and stuff too much. But
Why'd you go to church?
I don't know. My friends wanted to go to church. I don't know. They were Christian or something, but we were still doing some pretty heavy shit. So
Did you melt in together?
Yeah, we melted
merge?
into a single entity, collapsed to nothingness.
It sounds beautiful, though.
We expanded to encompass the whole
I thought
universe.
this was a scary
and
story.
it was very freaky at the time, but afterwards we're we became one thing.
Took a bunch of Molly to try and help, and that was really, really bad because it was dark web Molly too, and it
It's more.
Was it also from the Netherlands?
Yeah, Netherlands.
Their Molly is amazing.
Again, everything
it's very
was just
speedy, I find. I don't know why.
It was just stronger. Everything was stronger than what we thought. So our usual go-tos were just out the window.
Yeah, so we
And this was that same experience.
Yeah.
We were like, we'll take Molly to try to come out of the acid, and then it was way too much.
No, it doesn't do that. It makes the acid stronger.
Yeah.
And then the scary part was when we collapsed into each other. I thought I was dying.
Yeah, of course. You are.
Yeah,
Your ego is dying.
Yeah.
You can't become one and be you at the same time.
That'd probably be the freakiest one. Yeah.
Is that also your freakiest?
Possibly when I broke through on DMT and the people on the other side told me to go away.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
You got rejected.
Yeah, I got rejected, so.
You handled it well.
Yeah, like I try, but I think deep down too, I don't want to bother people too. So even if I am freaking out, I tend to hold it in. Which
It's okay to ask for help,
kind of a
though.
good thing and a bad thing. And
Sometimes you need help.
yeah, right. But yeah,
I know the feeling, though.
Yeah.
When I trip with people, I'm like, I'm supposed to be the guy that knows his shit. And sometimes I need help.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ask.
Everybody does, man. No one's immortal. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how much you know of these things, man, it can happen to anyone.
Follow-up question. Let's get things lighter. Best drug experience and why?
Very first acid trip, I was just walking around with my best friends around town, and the wind was all glittery, and this cat turned into a snake, but it was a good snake, you know? Like, I knew that snake wasn't gonna mess with me. It was like, you're my friend. And I just felt so good, like, the whole time. I looked up at the stars, and I just saw, like, the whole galaxy. I'm like,
Dude,
there's
the
no way that's
stars
real.
on acid
Oh my
are
God.
phenomenal, aren't they? They're phenomenal.
I'm
It's my
so
favorite
excited.
thing.
You're going to follow negative or the positive? Best drug experience.
Also an LSD experience. Funnily enough, that's when I tripled up and did 3 tabs. And I had a full-blown ego death experience. And at that time, I
That's
weighed.
usually the worst.
But it was the best. It was the best for me. At that time, I weighed over 300 pounds, and I was very unhealthy, not living a great life, very antisocial.
You look great.
Thank you. Yeah, I've lost over 100 pounds since then.
You don't have any stretch marks.
I know. It's crazy. I think it's just because I did it slowly over time.
When we did MDMA together, we had some really deep chats about stuff, and that was awesome. We learned
Like a truth serum?
Oh yeah, it was like I wasn't afraid without.
Therapeutic for us.
Yeah, like without judgment. You know what I mean? We're able to just talk about the deepest,
You're
scariest
much
stuff.
more vulnerable with each other.
Oh yeah, it was really nice. That's my favorite by far.
That's awesome. Done it since?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Still open up when you do it?
Yeah, we do actually.
First one was the most
Yeah, nothing beats that.
best, most memorable experience. And what made it so good? Did it change your life? Was it just fun? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
One of the first raves I went to, it was doing M, and it was just kind of the entrance into this, meeting people in this scene, and I just remember feeling so light and carefree, running around through the venue, dancing with people, just making so many friends. And
Isn't that amazing? That connection you feel with everybody? No matter, you're looking at people, oh, you're my best friend. Everybody.
Honestly, probably the first time you brought me to Shambhala and we took Molly and I went to Fractal Forest. That was so sick.
But what made it sick?
The fact that I was so in love with him and it was really, really, really good Molly and the vibes were just right. I thought everyone was on the same wavelength. It just felt really positive and happy, and that's I think back to that time every time I take Molly and I try to chase that dragon and I never quite get there.
Does it at least help you have good vibes going in?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you never get that one
absolutely.
back. The first one, you never get it back.
Absolutely not. No. But yeah, I do treasure that. It was a fun time for sure.
I'd say probably one of my favorite drug experiences was we did 2CB and MDMA, and then spent the evening having sex and listening to music.
Yeah, we had sex all night.
And I went into this ego death experience, and I faded out of my ego, and I was in this beautiful, colorful, geometrically morphing world, and I was met with some sort of entity, whether it was my subconscious or a genuine being of higher power, I'm not sure. And it was this being of light that held out both of its hands, and there was a light side and a dark side. And I felt that the dark side was me continuing on the path that I was on, just eating badly, not
Was that your
treating
biggest
myself
issue,
well.
the overeating?
I'd say so. It was overeating. There was a lot tied in with it, right? That led to me being antisocial because I wasn't happy with myself and things of that nature, right? And then the positive path was me becoming more outgoing, focusing more on health. And then I chose the lighter path, and from that point on, in the next 6 months, I lost 75 pounds.
My most eye-opening experience, I think it was actually on ketamine, weirdly enough. I was at like a house show with some friends, and like I was like talking to someone that I have so much in common with, and I was like, holy shit, I'm a divine twin with you, right? And then I was talking to someone else who's like, wait a minute, am I you or you me? And then I was
That was
like,
on ketamine.
yeah, with everybody. And at that point, I was just like I already have, empathy, because that's just what humans are born with, but like, it just
Not all of them are.
yeah, there's a couple out there, it's a bummer, but
Say 1 in 20, actually.
holy cow, that's bonkers.
And I'd like to say that experience has pretty much shaped a lot of who I am today. It showed me how to love myself and how to lead with love with others. And it's just, my life's been quite positive since then, I'd say.
But yeah, I just my empathy grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, and it just like, then it finally came back onto myself, and it like helped me with like self-hatred and stuff, and like finding love through other people helped me love myself, I think, which was really cool.
All right, well, it was nice chatting with you, man.
Dude,
I appreciate
it was an absolute pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right?
Okay, take care.
Sweet, happy chomping.
All right, take it easy.
Cheers.
Nice to meet you.
Happy chow, man.
I'm happy I helped.
You do God's work, man. You do God's work.
Thank you.